How can First Bank transfer 1.5 billion naira to somebody's account for months and they couldn't even trace it? Have you guys heard of the story where they transferred money into a man's account, eventually found it, and they took the man to court, charged him for stealing and conversion, and the man refused to bring back the money. He instead went to jail. Yeah, but then he refused to bring back the money. But of course, there's consequences for every action. He was sentenced to 1 year imprisonment and was told to refund back the money. In this video, we are going to be dissecting the legal implication of the man's action, whether he committed a crime, whether there was a moral obligation or legal obligation on the part of the man. I'm going to be hosting my colleague, so stay tuned as we bring to you this video. Bye.
I'm sure most of you know what is going on, on the social media space. So we heard the story about a guy that's, I think he saw some money that was transferred into his account by First Bank, and then Oga seized the money. He doesn't want to return it. He said he has spent some of it. So I want to know your thoughts on that. What do you think? What do you think is the legal opinion on that?
Okay, first of all, for someone to mistakenly send money into somebody's account,
Yeah.
the person that the money entered into his account hasn't committed any crime.
Yeah.
Because I'm on my own, you sent me money.
Very
I think where the issue was, and it took First Bank some time to actually trace that money.
Yes.
Because if that money came into my account and within 24 hours they rectified that issue,
Yes.
I think the story would have changed.
Yes.
I think the guy waited.
Yes, he did.
Although
actually.
he didn't report to the bank, which is something every good citizen with moral standards should do.
Yes.
But I think before he spent that money, he
Yes.
waited for a while.
Yes.
And nobody called, nothing happened, and he was like, my miracle is there.
The Lord has done it finally.
And I think that money is 1 billion.
1.5 billion.
Oh
naira.
my
Like you can imagine 1 point. Did I not get your show? No.
And he transferred to his mother, transferred to
sister.
his sister, like a lot of things. God.
Like
Why didn't he just leave the country?
okay. We're not giving people ideas right now. We are the legal luminaries for a reason.
Well, we are humans first,
Yes,
but then
the
major thing there is for him to receive that money was not a crime. But there was a point where he committed a crime.
Yes.
It was for him to get that money.
Yes.
For me, it's not a crime. People make wrong transfers every
day,
other day.
yes.
We go to small claims, we get an order of court to either freeze the account or
Yes.
reverse the money. So it's a normal thing that people undergo every day. So
Yes.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So you're saying that at the point the money was transferred into his account, that he hadn't committed any crime, right?
No.
So that's when it's settled.
Yes.
So, at what point did you now think, or do you think that he now started committing the offense?
Okay, when they reached out to him
Yes.
to return the money, as at when they say, oh, we mistakenly transferred money into your account, please, it was a mistake, can you
Yes.
refund back the money? And he refused. Then he has committed conversion and stealing.
Yes.
He has converted the money with intent to defraud.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
At that point was
Yes.
when he committed the crime.
Yes.
And morally too is actually wrong, because
Very
if maybe you see some skit makers, they
Yes.
mistakenly throw money on the floor
Yes.
and maybe watching someone will pick it up and
Yeah.
give it back to them. Those are moral standards. So in the moral aspect, he was wrong. In the legal aspect, he was wrong. So when they reached out to him, he'd be like, oh, okay, the money is, it's paid for 1.5 billion naira.
Oh my
It's
God.
not-
Oh my
it's
God.
not- but then he would have just said, okay,
I mean, it can't be that hard. It can't be that hard, honestly. From a Christian point of view, it cannot be that hard.
in Nigeria economy, oh my God.
But honestly, I feel like if I was the person, I would always know that repercussions will come calling,
Yeah.
because
Well,
you can't escape it.
the thing is, we really do not know what was playing in the mind of this man.
Yes.
It might be that he went for night vigil and the pastor told him that his miracle money is on the way.
Yes.
Mind you, nobody reported.
Yes,
Nobody called
because
at
I
first.
noticed it was like almost 6 months interval
Exactly.
before.
Nobody called at first. He must have
Yes.
given testimony and maybe paid his tithes for
I
the money.
mean,
So it is not, he doesn't have the legal obligation to say, oh, I saw a money in my
Exactly.
account. Though he has the moral obligation,
but not legal.
But as at when they reached out to him and was
Yes.
like, okay, there is this money. Mind you, another thing again we should consider is the kind of system we have in Nigeria. If it is a progressive and functional country,
Immediately, they will flag it.
But then I think maybe they were going through some kind of losses at the state.
But then how can you tell me that a bank does not know that 1 billion naira is missing when they are processing the accounts of the day or something?
Well, a lot of money goes in and coming to the bank. Maybe they were waiting till maybe 6 months, or I'm not a banker, but I feel like they were going through their records and they found out that they were shorted. Then they started trading. They called an auditor to start trading.
Yes.
That was when they found out. I don't want to say anything, but many
Yes.
bank managers too, they are also guilty
Very dubious.
of all these things.
Very dubious.
So we don't have a system that is
Yes,
sustainable
that works.
and good. So
Yes.
for me, I the only time I blame the guy is
Yes.
at that point when they said, give us back the money, it was a
Yes.
mistake, and he withheld. That was where I think I
crime
faulted him.
started, yes.
But for me to receive money, and after 1 month, do you know what 1 month is? 30 days,
Honestly.
17 working days.
Ah.
Nobody called, nobody did anything.
Okay.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months. The Nigerian mindset will be like,
Yes.
God has answered
God
my
has
prayer.
finally answered
And pastor
me.
will even bless you
Ah.
and pay your tithe. So that's the thing.
Honestly, it's really gross misconduct and gross, I don't know, negligence on the part of the bank right now. And so, what legal standpoints do we have to back up this man's crime in quotes?
Legal standpoint in terms of the kind of
What
he
crime
committed.
did he commit?
Conversion.
Exactly, yes.
Under the criminal code, when you take something that is not your
Yes.
own unintentionally,
Yes.
and you refuse to release, you've converted it,
Yes.
and it's called, and we can also say
Yes,
it's stolen.
exactly.
There's
It's
also
actually stealing.
stealing.
Yes.
We can't say it's 419 because there
No,
was
it's
no
not, yes.
but we say
Yes.
stealing and conversion can go in for it.
Because I know section 383 of the criminal code provides for stealing, and then it specifically say that if anyone takes or converts, that means you don't need to actually take,
Yeah.
but the act of converting it into your personal use, that is where the stealing starts.
Yeah. So actually, and the court was actually lenient. The
No,
punishment for stealing-
we're coming to that because I'm like, what in the, okay, first of all, let's look at the punishment for stealing. I think section 38, I'm not very sure, section 390 provides for the punishment for stealing, and it says 3 years. 3 years is the minimum punishment for stealing. So why did the judge give him just 1 year?
Apart from the 1 year punishment that the court
Yes.
gave to him, the court also told him to pay a fine of
5 million naira. No, 5 million naira, and then another condition is to refund the bank 200 and something million naira.
I don't think it was a condition. When you read that case,
Yes.
you realize that it was held conjunctively.
Exactly.
1 year imprisonment and return. But people online
And
were like,
is either
offshore.
no.
So for me, the court would have just given him 3 years
3 years,
imprisonment,
yes.
because he has spent the money.
Yes.
Where is he supposed to
Get the money from?
Like it's like he wants him to enter into a kind
Another
of a debt
crime,
that
yes.
he might not be able to come out from.
Yes.
Give him the 3 years. 3 years is not much.
Yeah.
He goes there, learn his lessons, think about the whole thing, and let the money just go.
Yes.
I think it's appealable.
Yeah. No, actually, but you know the funny thing, he actually pleaded guilty.
That's the point.
He pleaded
What
guilty.
does the Administration of Criminal Justice Act says? When an accused pleads guilty,
Yes.
we conduct trial within trial.
Trial within trial.
But then they pleaded guilty
And then just went on with the case.
So another thing again is the kind of lawyer that maybe the kind of lawyer that maybe defended him was
Yes.
a moral lawyer that
Yes,
already
that is
we know he committed
he's
this crime.
guilty,
But as
yes.
a lawyer,
Yes.
you did commit it.
Technicalities
But the law says
say
so.
so,
If
yes.
he had maybe approached me,
Yes.
I'll be like, you committed it. Then let them prove that you
Exactly.
committed
It's
it.
that
But he cannot just go
simple.
there and say
I'm
guilty.
guilty. Who does that? Hey God, that is why you have to be
Maybe
careful.
there was plea bargaining as well.
Okay, maybe
He was
plea. I
trying,
think
yeah.
I think
But
plea bargain
maybe that's why he
actually
got that
1 year. Actually,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
yes,
but
yes.
whatever the case,
Yeah.
people should. For me, they should remove that. They should appeal this case.
Yes.
That 200 and something million naira
It
shouldn't
doesn't
be
make
there.
sense.
He can't go
It
to
doesn't.
prison and still pay back that money.
Yeah.
It has to be either ways. Maybe damages for what they've cost. The bank is negligent. Nobody is
Very
talking
negligent.
about it.
Very.
Nobody is talking about the negligence of the bank.
The bank, like the kind
should
of
appeal the
loopholes
case.
in the bank. It should. Oh my goodness! I was like, no, because I feel like I was reading and then they said June to about I think August or so. I'm like, so this whole time passed and nobody in the bank, a whole bank noticed that 1.5.
The bank was negligent and
No,
has
no,
to
no.
pay. You
Yes.
can't give him an imprisonment, give him fine to pay damages and still refund the money. That was too harsh.
Yes.
But then they can go to Court of Appeal and then Supreme Court.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Yes. So, oh God, I'm sweating right now because I'm really, really angry. So, we have to talk about the impact of being an ex-convict in Nigeria, because most times people are like, oh, they're very quick to say, oh, I'm picking jail term, I want to go to prison and leave the money. So, what are the impacts of being an ex-convict in Nigeria?
I think it's either he did not he did not listen to his lawyer,
Yeah.
or he doesn't just care.
Okay.
Because when you become an ex-convict, there are many things that you lose. You
Yes.
can't vouch for any position in government. Maybe he really doesn't care.
Right.
Nobody wants to. Maybe he doesn't want to be a government official. You can't travel out and maybe become a citizen, because if you check some important official positions, they will ask you, have you been accused of anything? Have you been convicted? Those things are important. It is a dent in your integrity and image, which maybe he doesn't really care. It's not a small thing. In a progressive country, you can't even walk.
In a progressive country, that's because people are quick to say, oh, but Obasanjo went to prison and then he came out.
It's not Nigeria, anything goes.
Yes.
Maybe that's why he feels like
anything can.
Like, as long as I have my money, let me go to the prison.
Yes. Which is very unfortunate, because if you're traveling outside the country, I think they check these records, because you're supposed to get a record from the police, from this.
Funny enough, they wouldn't even know, except they dig deep. Countries like the United States will go as far as calling and digging deep, but there are some countries that if they don't provide that information, or if the database is not stored, they can't even access it. And Nigeria, like, I don't know. If you go to the progressive or developed city, once you put your thumbprint, everything about you just comes out, including your medical history. But it's not so in Nigeria, and that's just maybe why he feels like I can go to prison. But nobody should ever choose being an ex-convict over your morals or $1 billion.
It's not worth it.
Exactly, it's not worth it. I don't commend that. You shouldn't have taken that advice.
And then I also feel like, because you remember when we were filling in our law school forms, they would ask you there, are you an ex-convict? Have you committed any felony in the past? And I think it's something worth, of note, that if you're vying for some, government offices, not political offices right now, maybe public service, they look at all of these things.
Even your private business between people, once they find out you've been an ex-convict, there's a tense.
Trust just goes down.
So it's not something that somebody would want to go through. I don't think it's a good advice for him. It's not.
So, thank you for coming to our TED Talk today. See you in the next one. Bye.